Which way?
Come here, pretty girl. Look at the camera.
Hello.
Oh, thank you. Oh, good girl. Say positive affirmations, Padme. I am beaut-out. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Mental Health Mondays video. I'm MK, your friendly neighborhood therapist. Some of you might have noticed that I did not do a video last week. That's because I had the flu and could barely get out of bed for about a week. I did want to do a video because it occurred to me that since I had the flu, I went to the doctor, got a doctor's note, called out of work for a few days, and was able to rest and rejuvenate and start feeling better again. But it occurred to me that if I had depression and was having a depressive episode, I wouldn't be able to do all of that. So I really wanted to kind of fight through and still do a video, but trust me, you would not have wanted to see what I looked like last week. So this week, I wanted to address a question that comes up a lot with my patients at work. A lot of my patients ask me how to address negative thoughts or, negative self-image, things like that. So the answer to that, unfortunately, is not so cut and dry. I wish there was a magic cure-all coping skill I could give you to get rid of that negative voice in your head that sometimes says, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, things like that. Unfortunately, there isn't something like that. If you're having these thoughts pretty regularly and they seem to be impacting your everyday life, it might be something worth exploring in your own therapy, where you can kind of discover where they came from, why they're coming up so often, and things like that. Maybe track if they're happening only in certain situations or about certain topics. But today I am going to give you a little bit of advice that I do give my own patients. So something I tell my own patients to do a lot of the time is to repeat something called positive affirmations. Some of you might have heard of positive affirmations before, some of you might have heard the term, but you're not really quite sure what they are or how they work, so I'm going to be going over that in this video today. So positive affirmations are just the act of repeating positive thoughts, self-empowering thoughts out loud or writing them down on a daily basis. Now that might not seem like much, but let me explain why they do have a positive impact on ourselves. So there is really something to be said about what's called the mind-body connection, that things we do or things we think really do affect our mood. So when we're feeling self-conscious and we're feeling negative about ourselves and we keep repeating negative things, we sometimes find ourselves in something called a self-fulfilling prophecy. A self-fulfilling prophecy is what happens when we say something is going to happen over and over again so many times that it actually does happen. Typically, they tend to be negative. An example of self-fulfilling prophecy would be if I said that I'm going to go to a party, but I'm not going to make any friends. No one's going to like me. No one's going to talk to me. I'm not interesting, things like that. And I kept repeating that in my head or out loud to myself over and over again. And then it ends up happening. But one of the reasons it ends up happening might be because I'm so convinced that no one's going to like me that I don't try to talk to anyone else. Or if someone does try to talk to me, I might start thinking they don't really want to talk to me. I'm just bothering them. And so I cut off the conversation. So it's something negative that happens, but it happens most likely because I keep telling myself it's going to happen. So positive affirmations are something we can do to consciously try to stop ourselves from all the negative self-talk and to try to cut down on self-fulfilling prophecies like the one I just mentioned. So the way positive affirmations work is you come up with a statement or a couple of statements that you repeat to yourself out loud in your head or write them down on a daily basis. A lot of people like to do them in the morning as sort of like a morning ritual, or repeat them in the mirror so you can say it to yourself, or to write them down in a journal daily. Other people like to repeat them throughout the day when they're feeling self-conscious or negative. So when creating your own positive affirmations, try to remember the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps are make them present, make them positive, and make them personal. What that means is positive affirmations work best when they're in the present tense, so don't say something like, I used to be smart, or something like that, because that implies that you're not smart now. Or something like, I will be beautiful one day, because that also implies that you're not beautiful now. Even if it's something that you don't think you currently are, the whole point of this is to try to balance out the negative thoughts we have. So even if you don't think that you're beautiful or you don't think that you're smart, make your affirmations in the present tense. I am beautiful. I am smart. Next P is positive, so make sure you keep them positive. I know they're called positive affirmations, so that kind of seems like a given, but don't tone yourself down when you're doing this. You're doing this for you. Don't humble yourself or anything like that. Don't say, I'm okay, I'm average, I'm kind of smart. No, you say, I am smart, I am beautiful, I am determined. Now, the third P is to make your affirmation personal. What that means is, try to stay away from something pretty generic. Try to make it more personal to you. So first, identify what you're trying to work on. Do you often have negative thoughts about your appearance? Do you often have negative thoughts about your personality? What is it that you're having the most negative thoughts about? And then create an affirmation that's personal towards that. For example, if I was going on interviews and looking for a job and I was trying to create positive affirmations to give myself courage, determination for that, it's not personal to say you're going to get a job. Even though that's what I want in the end, it would be more personal to say something like, you are extremely intelligent, you are extremely qualified, any company would be lucky to have you. The more personal they are towards you, the better, and the more effective. So like I said before, a lot of people like to say these in the morning, or they like to write them in their journal. I like to say my positive affirmations when looking in a mirror so I can have that visual connection as well. And I do like to do it in the morning because I feel like it's a positive way to start your day, as well as it becomes routine if I do it, after brushing my teeth, before breakfast, things like that. Now, for me, when I first started doing positive affirmations, they felt a little bit weird. I wasn't exactly sure why. I thought maybe it was because I was talking to no one or something like that. But then I realized that for some reason, we live in a culture where it's kind of frowned upon to talk about yourself in such a positive way. For some reason, we feel like we need to humble ourselves or, self-deprecate. Even in my first video, I did a lot of self-deprecation. So it was a little bit weird for me just outwardly say positive things about myself, and it might feel that way for you too. However, these are private, and it's not wrong to say positive things about yourself. So trust me, I understand if it feels weird at first. However, think of the ultimate goal with these. We are trying to change the way we think. We are trying to change that negative voice in our head that says that we're not good enough, and that takes some effort. So the person kneeling next to me is my husband, James. He's going to help us out with a little bit of an exercise to end the video. So I have here a bunch of cards left by Zach, who was in my last video, called Affirmators. So they're just cards with random positive affirmations written on them. So I thought it'd be fun if each of us would pick one, and then I will pick one for you guys as well. So I know that before I said that they're supposed to be very personal, and that makes them the most effective. Are you dancing?
Yes.
So even though it's best to make your affirmations personal, some people like to buy pre-made affirmations and kind of pick one out each day and try to hold that in their head and try to embody the affirmation that they picked out. So why don't you and I pick our affirmations for today?
Let's do it.
Why don't you pick one?
This is me.
That's you.
This one's definitely me.
Okay, this one's definitely going to be me. And then I'll pick one for our 6 audience members. Alright, what did you get?
I got vitality. I am healthy and vital and strong. My radiant love of life fills me with healthy, vital, and strong cells. Each cell is a warrior. Everyone has his own sword and shield. I dare you to try to penetrate my cellular army. Didn't think so, chump.
I should have gotten that one. I should have gotten that after the flu. Okay, so I have no judgment. I release myself from any and all judgments. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? No judgment. Actually, that's a pretty good one. Alright, so let's pick one out for our audience members. Personal growth. As I move towards greater consciousness, I feel old thoughts and old habits fall away. Like training wheels on a bike, they help me get to where I am. But now I can ride. I don't need those slow, crummy wheels anyway. Except when I'm making bike analogies. These are cheesy. These are quite cheesy. Personal growth. So I hope that was relevant to any of you that maybe need to do some personal growing or felt like you've gone through a period of personal growth recently. So you can get something like that off Amazon, or I would encourage you to make your own. Some people even make a huge jar of different personal positive affirmations and they pick one out each morning. But they really are helpful if you give it a shot. Alright, thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe. Do you have anything else to say? No?
I don't.
So thank you for joining me. I will put out a video every Monday unless I am bedridden with the flu again. Did you pick a new one?
I did.
What is it?
No need to do.
Oh,
Perfect.
There's nothing you need to do? Okay, there's nothing else we need to do. We are going to go play some video games. Have a good night.